Hi everyone, so like the Infinix GT10 Pro that I reviewed a month ago, Infinix is back at it again with yet another smartphone, the Infinix Zero 30, which seems like a killer deal for a starting price of just 23,000 rupees. For that price, you're getting a 144Hz curved AMOLED display, a powerful Dimensity 8020 processor, and even 4K 60fps video recording from both the front and back camera. But before getting into all that, let me talk about the design first because the Infinix Zero 30 just feels fantastic in the hands. It's sleek and this vegan leather variant that I have with me feels premium to touch as well. Infinix has also gone with quite a bold look for the camera module, and I found this phone to be pretty lightweight at just 183 grams. It still is a big phone, but overall I'm really impressed with the hands-on feel of this thing. Sadly, there isn't any sort of IP rating here, but I guess we can't expect everything from a mid-range phone in the first place. Its impressive run continues on the display front too. You get a 10-bit 144Hz curved AMOLED panel here with up to 950 nits of peak brightness. That's great to look at. And these gentle curves make the Infinix Zero 30 feel more premium than it actually is. Although as with curved displays, there is some accidental missed touches here every now and then. Infinix also offers two color presets to choose from here, but I really wish both of them were not calibrated to look so rich and saturated. Anyway, watching movies or shows on this screen is a pretty nice experience, especially when paired with its loud stereo speakers. They don't sound the fullest, and there definitely is some lack of details in the low frequencies, but I don't think I can complain much. HDR playback is a mixed bag here though. The Infinix Zero 30 can stream HDR videos on YouTube just fine, but it cannot do so on Netflix. The haptics on this device is also pretty average. It's quite weak, and I even missed a couple of phone calls time and again. Anyway, let me talk about the performance now. This guy comes with a pretty powerful Dimensity 8020 chipset, which, like most other MediaTek processors we've seen this year, is also a rebranded product. More specifically, the 8020 is just Dimensity 1100 with a new name that launched almost 3 years ago. Okay, rebrandings aside, this is quite a competent chip, I must say. As you can see from these benchmarks, it easily keeps up with most of its competitors. And the real-world usage is also no different. Getting through the UI is buttery smooth and responsive on the Zero 30, and I haven't noticed any lag or stutter under regular everyday use like browsing the web, scrolling through social media pages and stuff as well. Switching between apps and multitasking has not been a problem either. I also like how Infinix has been generous in terms of the memory, since the Zero 30 comes with a base 8GB RAM and 256GB of internal storage. Plus, this custom XOS 13 is also one of the most improved Android skin that I have seen in recent times. There are a bunch of customization options and even a ChatGPT powered voice assistant called Folax. But what concerns me is that Infinix has not committed to any future updates for this guy, so hopefully Infinix does improve in this aspect, especially considering how competitive the market is right now. Anyway, gaming is one area where this phone surprisingly struggles, because to maintain the phone's slim form factor, Infinix has compromised on the cooling side of things by quite a bit. I found the Zero 30 to quickly throttle CPU performance under heavy load, and it gets noticeably warm near the camera module after like just 15 minutes of gameplay. I compared it to a couple of other similarly priced phones like the iQOO Z7 Pro and the Motorola Edge 40 Neo as well, and in every single game I tried, the iQOO Z7 Pro stayed the coolest, even though it's even slimmer and lighter than the Infinix Zero 30. I also noticed a few frame drops when playing PUBG Mobile at smooth graphics and extreme frame rates, but other games played pretty smoothly here. Now, to be fair, Infinix is not exactly marketing this as a gaming phone, but it is promising a lot in the camera department, so let's get into that now. Here, the Infinix Zero 30 uses Samsung's 108MP HM6 sensor for the main camera, and it also brings a 13MP ultra-wide-angle shooter, while selfies are handled by a 50MP sensor that supports autofocus. And as I mentioned before, its biggest highlight is the ability to record 4K 60fps videos from both the primary and selfie cameras, which is something no other phone in this price range can do, by the way. And after taking a lot of video samples, what I found is that its 4K 60fps footages during daytime are pretty decent, actually. You can notice some minor jitters every now and then, and it does not drown the ambient noise quite well, but there are plenty of details, and the overall stabilization is not nearly as bad as I expected. I also won't suggest you to record at 60 FPS at night when there isn't enough light, since the videos turn out quite noisy. This is because compared to something like a 30 FPS video, you're giving the camera exactly half the time to expose each frame, resulting in more noise in low light conditions. Infinix Zero 30's ultra-wide-angle camera can also record at up to 4K 30 FPS, and the results are actually pretty similar. The 4K 60 FPS recordings from its selfie camera are decent too. The footages are not as steady as I'd like it to be, but if you're serious about vlogging on a budget, I can easily see the Infinix Zero 30 being a perfectly workable tool when paired with a cheap gimbal and an external microphone. Likewise, I compared its cameras with the Galaxy A34, which is one of the best camera phones under 30,000 currently, and in terms of videos itself, it turns out that Infinix Zero 30 does not quite match Samsung's level of stability and exposure handling at practically every resolution. But I'm a little surprised to see how well it's doing against the Galaxy A34 in the photography department. During the day, photos from both the phones come out nice with a good amount of details. Infinix does need to work on its color processing in its images a bit more because they turn out a bit warmer, but overall it's not too bad. And I like how its ultra-wide-angle shots are consistent with those of the main camera too. The detail level is consistently better here, and it handles highlights and shadows pretty impressively. As for portraits, the Galaxy A34 earns an easy point. Not only does it have better edge detection and color processing, the Infinix Zero 30 tends to add a pinkish hue to the subject's face, which I am not a big fan of. Its selfies also leave a lot to be desired, as the Galaxy A34 handles skin tones miles better. But the Zero 30 is a champ when it comes to low-light photography. There isn't much shutter lag, and the images from the Zero 30 have more details and better dynamic range than the Galaxy A34. You can also choose to shoot in the super night mode, which takes in more light, but this gave me some weird looking images from time to time. Finally, let's talk about the battery. For such a slim phone, I was actually surprised to learn that this guy is packing a 5000 mAh battery inside, which fills up in around 50 minutes using its 68-watt power adapter that comes inside the box. And while it lasted me through the day just fine, the battery drain was quite horrifying, as the phone lost anywhere between 50 to 20% overnight. After a little bit of digging, I did find out that turning on the bedtime mode helps a lot, but yeah, this is something Infinix needs to fix ASAP. Okay, let's wrap up things now, and I think the Infinix Zero 30 is a great overall package for the price that pushes the boundary for smartphone cameras in the mid-range arena, especially in terms of videography. It does under-deliver on its promise of stable, shake-free videos every time, but I hope this encourages the competition to follow suit in the future anyway. There also are a couple of optimization issues for Infinix to sort out, but all in all, the Infinix Zero 30 makes a lot of sense under 25,000 rupees. I'll admit this segment does have a few other compelling options like the Motorola Edge 40 Neo and the iQOO Z7 Pro as well, but it easily stands out against the competition, is something I have to say, mostly through its videography capabilities. So everybody, that was all for my full review of the all-new Infinix Zero 30. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon. Till then, I'm Pratima, and thank you so much for watching.